What's up, YouTube, and welcome back to my channel. And in today's video, I'm going to be doing my South Carolina Gamecocks game schedule preview. But if you haven't, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And by doing so, it greatly helps out my channel and it helps me grow as a content creator. The South Carolina Gamecocks, we're going to look at their schedule today. And I was doing some research, and I noticed since Shane Beamer has been the head coach there, you know, they've gradually gotten better, like won a game more better than since he's been there. In 2020, South Carolina went 2-8. That was under Will Muschamp. I think Mike Bobo became the head coach as well for a short period of time there, but went 2-8. I think Will Muschamp was on his way out, and yeah, 2021, South Carolina went 7-6, went 3-5 in the SEC. In 2022, last season, they went 8-5 and went 4-4 in the SEC. So, like I said, got one extra game better than they did the previous season, and they're going into the 2023 season, and it's going to be interesting to see what South Carolina is able to do. South Carolina got some good wins last season, shocked a lot of people, and it's going to be interesting to see what the momentum that they got going into this upcoming season. And like I said, Shane Beamer did a phenomenal job, with some of those wins that he was able to pull off this last season. And I'm going to start off looking at the first game for the Gamecocks. First game is going to be against the North Carolina Tar Heels on September 2nd. This could be an intriguing matchup, guys, but this is a game I think South Carolina can pull off. North Carolina is overall just not a really good team. In my opinion, if you were to compare the two teams, South Carolina did more, way more, got more accomplished compared to North Carolina. North Carolina is a team that's just been struggling, just really not that good all the way around. But it's going to be an interesting matchup considering both teams are in Carolina. It's going to be an interesting matchup. I don't know what to think of North Carolina this upcoming season, but they possibly could be a team to make some noise. But if I had to put my bet on a team that I expect to pull out the victory in this matchup, I would pick South Carolina to win this matchup. But the game got to be played. It's going to be an interesting first game, though, no doubt. But I would like for South Carolina to win that game. Then on September 9th, they play the Furman Paladins. Team I feel like South Carolina should win against. Get some experience, get some guys in there. South Carolina still has Spencer Rattler, so I expect him to have a good day in this matchup, passing the ball. I know South Carolina's got some guys that have left the team through the transfer portal, but I still think South Carolina should be able to win this matchup. You can't push over nobody. You never know how the team's going to get up for teams, like Furman, but I expect South Carolina to win that matchup. And then the big matchup, guys, was September 16th, and they go on the road to Athens, Georgia to play the Georgia Bulldogs. We all know last season, the Georgia Bulldogs came to South Carolina, came to Columbia, and the Georgia Bulldogs beat them 48-7. In my opinion, I thought that was going to be a better matchup than what it was, but Gamecocks just couldn't get anything done against the eventual champs. And like I said, Georgia is a beast of a team right now. They're really, really good, and everybody's got a target on their, targeting them. Georgia has a target on their back now, and South Carolina would like to avenge that loss that they got last season. So I know that's one of the games they got circled on their calendar. And like I said, they got to go to Athens. It's going to be a tough place to play. You can ask any team that, whenever a team has home field advantage, it's really, really tough, because the team is in their element. It's going to be a tough task for Spencer Rattler and the Gamecocks to go to Athens, Georgia, and win. But there is a chance that they can win this game, guys, because Georgia is going to be breaking in a new quarterback. We don't know who that's going to be yet, but in my opinion, I think it's going to be Carson Beck. That could be a kink in Georgia's armor if there ever is one. Georgia, I expect their defense to be really, really good again this season. Their defense was young last season, so as long as Kirby's there, that defense is going to be really, really good. But South Carolina, going on the road to Georgia, that's going to be a tough one. But definitely going to watch that matchup because I think, in my opinion, at the quarterback position, South Carolina has the advantage there. So it's going to be interesting. I want to keep an eye on that game. The next matchup, September 23rd, against the Mississippi State Bulldogs at home. Mississippi State team just lost their head coach, and Mike Leach, and they're going to be revamping their offense. They've since made Zach Arnett, the defensive coordinator, their head coach. I expect that defense to be really, really good for Bulldogs, but it's going to be interesting to see what the offense is going to look like. They brought in Kevin Barbay for the offensive coordinator from Appalachian State. Really, really good coordinator. Shocked Texas A&M last season. So it's going to be interesting. That's going to be an interesting matchup. I expect that game to have great offense going on in that matchup. But South Carolina got the Bulldogs at home. Can't overlook the Bulldogs. That's going to be a good matchup. Then September 30th, South Carolina goes on the road. They go to Knoxville. They play the Tennessee Vols. This is going to be an interesting matchup. Tennessee no longer has Hendon Hooker, but they do have Joe Milton. He got some playing time last season. The offense didn't look like it took a step back. This is going to be a revenge game for Tennessee. Tennessee lost last year to the Gamecocks at home, 63-38. Tennessee just couldn't keep up with South Carolina in that matchup. South Carolina just did whatever they wanted to do offensively. Tennessee defense was on skates the whole game. I'm going to be honest, South Carolina was booming that day. I mean, really, really good. It would have been tough for any team to beat South Carolina. They were just on a different level that game. And shocked the world. Like I said, this is one of the games where South Carolina shocked the world and beat Tennessee the way they did. Massive beatdown. Tennessee fought in there. They fought, but just South Carolina was just really, really good, and Tennessee didn't have an answer. So Tennessee was going to love that game, in Knoxville this season. South Carolina got to go on the road. Going to be a tough game for South Carolina. Take it from me. My Alabama Crimson Tide lost to Tennessee in their stadium last season. Tennessee was really, really good. So Tennessee is returning the number one offense in the country. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens in that matchup for South Carolina versus Tennessee on September 30th in Knoxville. Must-watch TV. Then South Carolina gets a bye week, October 7th. Going to be off. Then on October 14th, they host the Florida Gators, a team where they're breaking in. They're going to have a new quarterback. I think the quarterback is going to be Graham Mertz, former quarterback from Wisconsin. What their offense is going to look like is going to be interesting. Florida struggled last season, and Florida's also bringing in a new defensive coordinator, bringing in Austin Armstrong, great defensive mind, young guy. What is that defense going to look like for Florida? What the offense is going to look like? It's going to be an interesting matchup, but the South Carolina Gamecocks host them. South Carolina lost to Florida last season, 38-6. Definitely a game that South Carolina is going to want revenge. Head-scratcher game to me. I don't understand how South Carolina lost to the Gators last season. In my opinion, the Gators wasn't really that good at all. Definitely a head-scratcher for South Carolina. Definitely should have been one of the games I feel like they should have won, but they lost the game bad, 38-6. So definitely going to have to watch out for that game this upcoming season. Like I said, another revenge game for the Gamecocks. Then the next matchup against the Missouri Tigers on October 21st. You got to go to Missouri. Scrappy team in Missouri. We really don't know what Missouri is going to look like this upcoming season. Definitely a game I think South Carolina will have the advantage in. It's going to be interesting, though. Like I said, you can't overlook any team especially SEC team. Missouri uh, was scrappy last season. Gave Georgia a little scare, So it's going to be interesting, see how the Missouri Tigers play against Gamecocks this upcoming season. But definitely a matchup I think the South Carolina Gamecocks uh, would definitely can win, most definitely. October 28th, South Carolina got to go to College Station to play against the Texas A&M Aggies, a team I think is going to be really, really good this season offensively. They struggled last season. Since then, they brought in Bobby Petrino, really, really good offensive mind. Jimbo Fisher no longer will be calling the plays, supposedly. So I expect the Aggies offense to be really good with Connor Wayman. And, of course, they brought in Ole Miss's running backs coach. So Texas A&M is going to be really, really good, guys. I think offensively. Defensively, I think they're going to be solid. They recruit at a really good level the last couple of seasons on the defensive line. So watch out for Texas A&M. That's going to be a good matchup between the Gamecocks and the Aggies. Carolina Gamecocks got to go on the road. So tough matchup there, but going on the road. So that's going to be an interesting matchup. Then, of course, November 4th, they play against the Jacksonville State Gamecocks. Matchup I feel like, South Carolina should win, more talented team in the Gamecocks, South Carolina Gamecocks. But Jacksonville State have shown in the past they're a pretty tough team too, Group 5 team, really, really good team. So, but I expect, South Carolina to win that matchup. Then their next matchup, November 11th, William Brice Stadium against the Vanderbilt Commodores. Vanderbilt, a team that shocked Florida last season. Like I said, South Carolina lost to Florida, but Florida lost to Vanderbilt. That's crazy, how that happened. But Vanderbilt was a little bit better team last season than they have been in the past. So, but in my opinion, South Carolina better team overall from top to bottom. More talented players on the side. Like I said, Shane Beamer leading the helm. I expect, South Carolina to win that matchup against Vanderbilt. Then, of course, the next Saturday, November 18th, they play against the Kentucky Wildcats. A team in the Wildcats bringing in Liam Cohen. He was there, I believe, in either the 2020 or 2021 season. Great offense. They had Will Levis there. And Liam Cohen, while he was calling the offense, Kentucky's offense was really, really good. He stepped out and he went to the NFL, but he's back for Kentucky. So going to be an interesting matchup for both, offenses to see who can move up and down the field. Of course, Kentucky is known to have good defense, but they struggled defensively last season. And they're going to be tasked with, building back up their O-line. Kentucky normally has a good O-line, but they struggled mightily last season at the O-line position. So that's going to be must-watch TV, watching Kentucky versus the South Carolina Gamecocks. But if I had to do my early prediction, I think South Carolina will be able to pull this off. But it's going to be interesting. It depends on how Kentucky looks by this time, in the season. Then South Carolina caps off the regular season on November 25th against the Clemson Tigers. Clemson struggled last season, wasn't able to get in the playoffs. They brought in Cade Klubnik, at the quarterback position, made a change. The offense looked better, but they lost at the end of the season against the Tennessee Volunteers in the Orange Bowl. They have since, changed their offensive coordinator. They struggled offensively, last season with Brandon Streeter. They have since brought in, drawing a blank right now, Garrett Riley, from, they brought in Garrett Riley, he's a great offensive-minded guy. He's coming from TCU. TCU was able to get in the playoffs last season. We all know he's Lincoln Riley's younger brother. So Garrett Riley, what is he going to do with Clemson's offense? Like I said, they struggled offensively last season, and defensively they struggled as well. So what the Clemson Tigers going to look like? That's going to be interesting. Last season, South Carolina beat them 31-30. It was a close matchup, but they beat them. Like I said, one of the two games, beat two teams back to back in Tennessee and Clemson. Really, really good games. And can South Carolina go 9-4? Can they up it a notch another game? Like I said, the previous season they went last season they went 8-5. Can they go 9-4 this season? I'm looking at their schedule. Like I said, they got to go on the road to Athens. That's going to be tough. They host the Mississippi State Bulldogs, but got to go on the road to play Tennessee. So two of the top teams from last season, they got to go on the road this season. Got to play Georgia Bulldogs in Athens, Tennessee, and Knoxville. And then they go to Texas A&M. Those are going to be some tough matchups, going on the road to play against those teams. Other than those three teams, they have a favorable schedule. They do got to go on the road to North Carolina to play against North Carolina Tar Heels. I favored them in that matchup. But like I said, Georgia and Tennessee and Texas A&M, that's going to be tough. If some kind of way South Carolina can get past those guys, or at least, in my opinion, be able to beat maybe one. They can get 2 wins out of those 3 tough road games. South Carolina gonna be sitting pretty good, and in my opinion, that'll be really, really good. If they can get 9 wins this upcoming season, the progress is just going to continue to go. Like I said, going on the road to Georgia, that's going to be tough. Going on the road to Tennessee, that's going to be tough with their revenge factor. Texas A&M is going to be tough, but it's possible, guys. Anything is possible. South Carolina shocked a lot of people last season with the wins. Like I said, capping off the win against Tennessee and the Clemson Tigers, and they're going to have all the momentum in the world getting over that hump and beating those teams. So, and of course, if they were able to win the East, December 2nd, they'll play in the SEC Championship. But South Carolina, man, look out for them. They're playing Beamer ball. Shane Beamer is a great coach. And like I said, he's already made progress since he's been there. They did lose in their matchup last season in the Tax Slayer Bowl against the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. It was a close matchup, though. They almost pulled it out, but Notre Dame was able to beat them. But I know they want to erase that loss. Want to go into next season with a win against the North Carolina Tar Heels, and it's going to be interesting to see what South Carolina is able to do. But what do you guys think? Leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. And once again, guys, if you haven't, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And I'll definitely be back with more college football content. Thanks, guys, and roll tide.